We're back with everyone's favorite game about circles, going in circles. Currently we have a red circle closing every 0.79 seconds, now it's closing just over 1 time per second and earning us money. And with that we're getting $1.72 per revolution, and every time it closes that number gets bigger. The goal is to make it all the way to infinity, but we're on several ascensions already, so we already have a big multiplier at our base. We're going to upgrade this. And we quickly saved up $140, so we're going to buy the orange circle and get it started. It goes only 0.07 per second, so it takes a while to make a lap. So while we're waiting for that, we need red closing as many times as possible to get our earnings as high as possible. The quicker circles close, the bigger our multiplier goes. So ideally, we want everything closing over 10 times per second to watch this number go bananas. But with enough time, everything goes bananas. But by that same principle, we should get the oranges going again to get them closing almost twice as fast, and that number is going to get bigger on itself fast. I think the fastest boost is going to be the reds for now. We just need this number to be big. We're up to almost $5 per revolution now. And once we hit infinity, we unlock something, and then we unlock something at eternity, which is beyond infinity. And then something mysterious that we don't know how to unlock. We can already speed the red up by another 0.66, so it's going almost 3 times per second, so our multiplier is getting bigger faster. And with $1,000, we can double the speed of our orange laps, and that also unlocks the ability to buy the yellows. But the orange is now going off about once every 2 seconds. And it doesn't take long to make $1,000 again, so we might as well just start the yellow going. I know it's not going to be the most worthwhile right now, but the more multiplied it gets, the better we all are. So the more progress we go, the bigger things get. Like it snowballs bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're going to get another 1.3 seconds on the red, so it's going 4 times per second. I also didn't know that you could just press B to buy all upgrades. I might just set an auto clicker on B for the next 10 years. After taking a moment to learn all the stuff I should have learned before, we're up to about $9,000, so red's getting faster. See, we're already up to 38 per revolution at this point, so that number's just gonna get stupidly big. And our income here is just a summary of all of these numbers. So 16 times 2.5 makes it roughly 40 plus a little more, which is how we get to 46. Which is why we need all these numbers to be bigger, especially if there's anything that's just 1, it needs to be much bigger because 1 isn't helpful. I'm going to max buy the reds one more time, they're at 5 times per second, and we'll be able to boost the orange up to well over once per second as well. And we currently have enough achievements unlocked that we have a 1.13 multiplier to multiplier gain. So we can see the reds up here going bananas, they're at almost 20. We're going to keep by the orange right now, that's well over 1 time per second as well now. Since we can add half a second to the yellow laps, we're going to do that. We've also unlocked the green. A short coffee break later, we jumped up to 48 million, but we are getting 19,000 per revolution, so you can understand how this gets big quickly. And to make sure it really does, we're going to add another 5 per second to the reds, so that number is now constantly in motion. And while we're at it, another 2 per second to the oranges, so even bigger multiplier. That's the satisfying thing about this, everything multiplies bigger, so it just gets endlessly bigger and bigger and bigger. We bought some more yellows, we even bought the green, so every 3 seconds that's going to do a revolution and it's all going to add. I don't really know what happened to the game or the prestige window. I feel like these should all be a lot bigger than they are. If we were to prestige now, we go from a 1 times to a 7 times multiplier. But after a short wait, we have $15 billion, so we can increase a lot of these by a lot of speed. I think our biggest gain is going to be simply adding 2 revolutions per second to orange, then another 1 to yellow, and you can see everything starts going bananas. We can add another 1 to red. We are now getting 3 million per revolution, so we're not hurting. And the reds are cheap enough we can buy them quite quickly, 12.6 revolutions every second. We're doing well, we're 3.15% of the way to infinity. Let's add a full second to the greens. And we can use all of our time flux to jump ahead certain amounts of time, like I just burned through 20 minutes, which gave us now $1 trillion, and we're making 110,000 per revolution. So you'd think that 1 trillion would get us further, but things do get rather expensive. But now that we did that, we're making well over $1 billion per second. And if I just keep spending my very valuable resource of time flux, we can skip through another 20 minutes. And then we have $76 trillion instead, which is enough to buy all sorts of different upgrades. I think we can actually max out the reds for that price, so now it's spinning 13.13 times per second. And I want it at max, I don't want to prestige it yet. It does get a multiplier gain after that, but I want it spinning as many times as possible for now. I'm also going to spend on the orange to get it max, yellow is not going to max. I will buy some of that just because I wanted to unlock the dark blue. Then we'll spend $2 trillion on that to make it spin quite quickly, but now we're making like $100 billion per second. So if we buy this, we can add a little bit to that. That's going about 1 time per second. Alright, this time we're going to aim for 60 minutes, but we're going to stop it at about 20. It's just a quick way of doing this. Now we have 7.5 quadrillion already. The multiplier would jump up to 42 times at this point. Even with all this money, we can still buy, like, we're pretty limited at what we can afford. We can add 0.33 seconds here, 0.45 here, 0.36 there. We're definitely making like $10 trillion a second, but that's still kind of slow. But nothing slow when you have time warps. Not really. We'll just go 20 minutes at a time. I still have a whole bunch of that stuff, and we can always get more. We've got infinity to reach. With the next $560 quadrillion, I'm going to add a second to the lapse of that guy. That's actually maxed out, so this one's also maxed out too. They obviously don't move as quickly as the reds, so they won't climb as quickly, but they'll still climb. We need this P multiplier to be much bigger, so we're going to go ahead and do some more time warp, and we're going to build up and up and up. So we can afford purple now. I don't know if I want to max buy that necessarily, but I do want to buy one level of that. Okay, I'm going to buy another 0.84 seconds there. We're going to buy everything we can, do another time warp, just so that things build up fast. Every time we do that, the numbers get big, and I just can't get enough of it. It is pure dopamine. We are also now getting 4.10 quadrillion per spin, per revolution. That probably means it's time to start ascending these. So as soon as we do that, we can put that right back to 11.3 times per spin, and it has a multiplier, so it's going to start moving again. We'll try that with the next one down. We're definitely only about halfway there, so time for another time warp. So we're going to spend some sextillions of dollars. It's still only going about 5 times per second, but the multipliers are all getting bigger. But things will slow down enough that I think it's time. We're just going to prestige again. So our prestige multiplier is going to go up to 230 times, and prestige exponent 1.07. So I guess my game must have reset. Like, I started playing in prestige and it just sort of reset the whole file or something. Whatever the case, we're making 375 per revolution. So things are going to escalate quickly. It's been 10 seconds and we're already 1.3% of the way to infinity. So imagine how big that's going to get by the end. I just did a little time warp and we went to $1.8 billion. So everything's going to get rolling. Then I just really quickly max buy anything I can. When there's nothing easy there, I time warp again. And that gave us $67 trillion. So we're going to make the lower ones go as fast as they possibly can. That one's even almost at 1 time per second. We're already getting 15 billion per revolution. Literally a few seconds later, we have $2.8 sextillion. We're getting 300 quadrillion per revolution. The multiplier is already in a good spot, but we'll keep going. Things do just all get really, really expensive. But we're making about $6 trillion per second. I've maxed out about half of my colors, so we're going to loop the A around. I can already put that right back to max. It's at A2. So the red's multiplier gain is now 0.14, whereas other things are 0.01. 20 minutes of that, we're up to 56 sextillion per revolution. And we've maxed up all the way to light blue. We might be able to push orange around at this point. Yep, we sure can. Orange is at A2 as well, so bigger multiplier gain. I think we're into the septillions of dollars, so let's try yellow. That's not quite maxed out, but it can't be that far off at that price. Still can't. For all of that money, we're up to 28 octillion dollars. So we'll just boost anything we can and go through more time warps. We have unlocked the final color. It costs 1 decillion, so we're not quite there yet. But our multiplier, if we prestige, is getting big. We go from 230 to 4,500. Before doing that, let's do a full hour right here at our earnings to see if that number jumps up. So we were at 4,500 times prestige. Yeah, now we're at 12,000. So that's 2.5 times as big, which is obviously worth it. Just to be sure, we're going to do another very quick hour and change just to make sure. Yeah, we'll do an hour and a half. What do we got to lose? Now we're at a 27,000 times multiplier. There's also the promote button, but last time I touched this, it prestige just anyway. So I'm not really sure how to work all these, but for now I want this multiplier. That's what I know, 27,000 times. Oh, and we can still promote, so I think we probably want a multi-gain multiplier. Did that prestige us again? Okay, that's like a prestige on prestige, so it put us right back to 1 times per revolution, but with our bigger gain up here. I think, yeah, it's 0.07 instead of 0.01, so it is 7 times bigger, so this will work to our advantage. I'm just going to burn us right back around to roughly to where we were. It really only took us a minute to push us all the way back to here, to the point where we can prestige again. We can also promote again if we want to. I'm not entirely sure how this works yet, but these are quite beneficial. But if we go through about another 20 minutes here, that's going to give us, we're up to 13 tridecillion per revolution, which is obviously really big. We also have almost 1 million times multiplier. I've also got the multiplier gain on reds up to 9.93 times. We'll see if we can do the same on orange and yellow. Yellow is where we cut it off, so we'll do another 20 minutes right here. Now A has touched down. We're up to 2.5 million times multiplier, which means we can finally actually afford some of the white ones. Do you think we can do the reds one more time? Not quite, but I'm pretty sure after 20 minutes we'll have the funding we needed to do that. Nope, still not quite. But we're up to 5 million times multiplier, so we gotta take advantage of that when we prestige. And we get even bigger and bigger again, so we're already up to 200 million per revolution. So we're obviously gonna max by many things. Max by that, max by that, max by that, max by that. I've also found that we can increase our prestige multiplier. Even by a few percentage points makes a big difference. Prestige exponent also makes a big difference. And revolution boosters to 7% income, 3% multipliers, revolution laps per second, and ascension power is a big one as well too. It's been a while since I checked on things over here, so we're going to go through a little more time flux, especially because we have a lot more to spend. So now we're up to a 5.2 million times prestige multiplier again. But this time, we're not going to go ahead and use that right away because we've got bigger things to do. Oh yeah, we need to start lapping these as well. So now that I've looped some of these around as many times as I could, we're going to let them go. They're going to get bigger multipliers and just much bigger earnings for us. We'll go through another 20-30 minutes. And then we have the money we need to max buy a bunch of things. This one's not quite, but these are at their max level. Even the whites are now max level. The achievement's in the way. My time is running. So, anyways, we're up to 860 million times multiplier. We're getting, I think, 256 vigintillion, some big number per revolution. I can't believe we have the whites already maxed out. It's very hard to get them around again, but I've got time if you do. I want the achievements to stop showing up when I'm doing that because it's burning through my very expensive time. We're 24% of the way to infinity. We're getting there. The red's multiplier gain is now 12.2. That's actually really big. And the multiplier just gets bigger and bigger. We could go from a 5 million to 22 billion, which is a little over 40 times as big. See, if we were to promote now, we would take this one from level 3 to level 18. That would put up to a 77 times multiplier gain. I think we'd lose our progress over here. Same with Ascension Power, that one doesn't feel as worth it. For now, we're just going to Prestige because I want a 22 billion times multiplier. So we're already up to 40 trillion per revolution, so we can obviously just max buy our way down the list quite quickly. We're at the point where we've got whatever that number is per revolution, and I'm also upgrading these to level 4 insta-buying, except for that one. But if we go ahead and wait for another, say, 20 or 30 minutes, now our prestige multiplier is up to 434 billion, and that should help us out with some of these numbers. They're getting so big at the top, they can't actually properly fit in there anymore. And we've jumped up to 29% of the way to infinity, so we obviously still have a little ways to go. But I think I actually want to do a promotion again. I might do the multiplier gain, because instead of a 6 times multiply, we'd have a 97 times, which is absolutely huge. Lap speed multiplier is also tempting. I wish I could get them both. I'm maybe going to take a lap speed multiplier. That is going to put us back to square one, but I could put us right back to where we were, no problem. Especially now, because the red can be up to over 30 times per second. It should max out at almost 40. Actually, the red maxed out at 47. Even the orange is at 23, so these numbers are going to get stupidly big, stupidly fast. Before even prestiging the first time for 56 million, I'm going to do another multiplier gain. That's going to go from a 6 times to a 37 times. So things will be even quicker again. Okay, jumping right ahead, about to where we were earlier, even past it. We're about to go from a 137 million times multiplier to 8.25 trillion. Now watch what happens when we start. If I max by this all the way to max out, we can max by that, max by that, max by that, max by that. Look at the circles go, and look how much we're making already, no nillions. The last time I played this, it took the entire time to make it to about the no nillions, so we are well past that. The numbers at the top definitely don't love fitting in there, but we are up to a 35% to infinity rate. We definitely got to keep the multipliers over here going as well too, because this is getting a 1000 times multiplier gain at this point. And that's obviously going to be really big for us. So we'll go through another 30 minutes. That leaves us with whatever that number is. I don't remember, but now we can max by a whole bunch. We could have an 8 quadrillion times multiplier. And we can still loop some of these around. Like the red is up to A5. That's a 13,000 times multiplier for us. So that's why that number is still going so fast. I do feel a little better about the state of things since we are about 44% of the way to infinity. So we're getting there. I think it's time to prestige again because we're going to go to 11 quintillion, which is a gigantic number. So we should be able to race right to the bottom of this. This is where the hotkeys come in handy. You want all these, press A. You want to buy all those, press B. Press A, press B, press A, press B, press A, press B. That's so much quicker. I understand why they did it now. It's a little less precise for like this side of things, but I mean, look at the money go. Red, orange, and yellow are at 6th Ascension. I got an achievement just for that. I think it's time to jump back to promotions for a second though. For our multiplier gain, we can go from 37 to 323. That's about a 10 times boost. Not quite, but you get the idea. So now we're just going to prestige ourselves back around to where we just were, but with even more power. Before I even prestige for the first time, I'm actually going to increase my ascension power by almost 50% as well. Alright, so now after all of that, if we were to prestige, we go from 2.46 trillion to 3.35 septillion. That is a big boost. So now to begin, we're already in undecillion. So if I press B, we buy all of that, and then we circle this all around, and we just let things roll. So basically in real time, we're at 50% of the way to infinity. And a few seconds later, 64% of the way there. We're getting close. A few minutes after that, we could go up to 925 octillion. But we need more numbers. Another 30 minutes of warp, 4.84 nonillion prestige multiplier. That's such a silly big number. So let's do that one more time and see where we land. 12.5 nonillion. I like the sound of that. Let's see what prestige gets us there so we can already just go around the block. We're getting so close, we're up to 82% of the way to infinity. And if we prestige now, we would get 11.8 decillion, which is much bigger than 12 nonillion. It says dog. Okay, so let's prestige again now that we can get 218 decillion. So to begin, we basically spawn at 18% of the way to infinity. We watch that number skyrocket as I'm buying different things. It's so easy to get to infinity when you can just buy your way there. So we currently landed at about 88% of the way there. If we were to prestige again, we go from 220 decillion to 1.9 undecillion. And yes, these are very big numbers. I can't really comprehend them myself. But we're at 89% of the way to infinity, so let's do that prestige and see if that gets us there. I like at the top how when it gets into the billions, it just gives us a B instead of actually writing the number out. Well, that pushes us through to 90% of the way to infinity. Maybe we just need more time. Let's go a full 3 hours and see what happens after that. That put us up to 93%, so we got about 1% per hour. Which means to get to infinity, we probably need to do another promotion, either a multiplier gain or a lap speed gain. Lap speed gain is probably going to be bigger because it go from 21 to 86, so we'll do that. So even with no prestige points built up, we're already making 200 per revolution. And literal seconds later, we're into the billions because that's the power of the extra speed. So this is without any prestige on. The prestige is skyrocketing. You think if we increase the promotion power here, it's going to affect the other ones? I guess we could check. It's a 323 times multiplier now. We'll see if we get 20% more. I did increase the other ones by 20%. Oh, that was totally worth it. And we got another achievement for Rainbow. Make all the circles go solid. I didn't realize I hadn't done that yet. I guess we needed a bigger speed multiplier though to actually make that happen. Well, I guess with the 48 trillion times multiplier the first time around, I think we'd better do the prestige. And then a few seconds later, we could be back up into the really stupidly big numbers. Yeah, this time we have like a something septillion times prestige multiplier, so the numbers will get even bigger, even quicker. And we can get our multiplier up into the decillions, it looks like, so we'll do that, and that might be enough to get us to infinity on this one. Yeah, we're currently at 93-ish% of the way there. Let's sit here for, say, an hour and a half and see where that leaves us. 96%. We're getting so close, but these are getting so expensive still. I'm going to prestige one more time because we did get a massively bigger multiplier. So with the bigger prestige multiplier, we're up to about 98%. So let's give it a 20 minutes. 99.84. I think we're going to do it. So let's go another 20 minutes. We did it. We reached infinity. Let me turn my time thing off. Go infinite. We did it. Which brought us to here where there's upgrades and generators and all sorts of things and a lot of squares we could potentially buy. Infinity generation and automation. Generator G1 multiplier multiplied by infinities. Currently at 1 times, also unlocks automation and auto buy. I think I have to buy this one anyway, so sure. Oh, so now we can just automatically buy these. And that has looped us back around to the beginning, but we're doing much better than we did before because we're already at $5,000 per revolution. So we'll let this run for 16 years and then see what happens at that point.